this day with my music, but I will try my damnedest to be an inspiration by any means necessary, by any way that I possibly can. So right now, I'd like to bring her up without further delay. I think you've seen her. She now starts tomorrow on Steve Harvey with Monday Money, or Money on Mondays. You have to check her out. She is the Medea of money on the Steve Harvey Show. Please welcome Dr. Lynn Richardson. Woo-woo!
Hey. It's called Money Mondays, girl.
Money Mondays. Yeah, that's
gonna get the brand right. Hey, everybody.
Money Mondays.
We're gonna do this today.
Yeah, I talked about you big time, so you better do something.
Okay. All right, let's go.
All right, well, I guess the first question I'd like to know is, how can you give some tips on getting your money straight? Whether you're living check to check, or whether you have some funds, but you're not quite sure what to do with them, but you certainly don't want to lose it. What would you tell the people?
Well, the whole thing with money is something that I think people don't believe that they can figure out. I think most of us are just going from day to day, thinking that at some point we might win the lottery, find a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, or get a sugar daddy or something like that. But the truth is, that's not how it works. And the other truth is, you have the power to create the financial situation that you want. And in order to answer that question, it's important for me to tell you a little bit about my background that people may not know about me. Because I think when you understand that, the stuff about me being on Steve Harvey and all of that stuff, that's great. But I didn't start there. I was born and raised in Chicago. As a matter of fact, my grandmother was 75 years old, cleaning homes for wealthy people, putting me through college. And we grew up in the projects. I grew up in the projects. And I don't know if you understand this. I knew we were not rich, but I didn't feel poor. Does anybody kind of understand what I mean by that? So when I would ask my grandmother for money, she didn't know a lot about money. She made $25 or $30 a day. She'd tell me to go in a room, look on the shelf, look inside my pocketbook, inside the zipper, wrapped up in a piece of paper towel is $20. You understand? So she'd say those things. So when I got off to college, I didn't know a lot about money. I went to college. I went to one of the world's greatest institutions. I was there on scholarship. It was very expensive. And so there was a room about half this size my first week of school, and they had credit cards all the way around the room. And instead of me just getting one credit card, I went in there and got one of each. And so because I didn't know a lot about money, you know, my grandmother taught me the things that grandmothers and big mamas and Medeas teach their children, like go to school, get a good education, get a good job, go to church on Sunday, wear clean underwear in case you get hit by a bus. Was that in the grandmama book? So I got all these credit cards, and when the creditors would say, well, Lynn, can you borrow the money? I'd say, can I borrow it from you? I had all kind of funny answers. But fast forward, when I got out in the real world, my credit was jacked up. I had to get my furniture from Rent-A-Center. I couldn't buy my first car. I had to buy a real raggedy old used car. So I knew that my relationship with money was something that I would have to deal with probably for the rest of my life. So fast forward, I started living the American dream. I'm married. I've got degrees. I've got 3 children. A big old house in the suburbs. Big old debt. All of that stuff. I am running companies for people. I'm writing books. I've become well known around the country for helping people financially. But let me tell you what I was doing. I was living a lie. I was living check to Monday. Do you all know what that is? You see, check to check is a blessing. That means you get paid on Friday, and by the next payday you're broke. But check to Monday was a whole nother game. You get paid on Friday. I see somebody raising their hand in the background. Yes, honey. You get paid on Friday, and people say you broke on Monday, but some stuff happened before Monday. You see, you get paid on Friday, you kick it on the weekend, you pay on your past due bills, because in your mind, your current bills are not due yet. And by Monday, you're broke. And I was living that lifestyle, making $20, $30, $40, $50, $60, $70, $80,000 a month. I said a month, not a year. So I spend my life helping people to understand this thing. If you get this today, you can be free. More money does not solve a money problem. If it did, millionaires wouldn't go bankrupt. If more money could solve a money problem, you would not have a bankrupt millionaire, you wouldn't have a bankrupt billionaire, you would not have bankrupt lotto winners. Do you understand? So I had to change my mind. And so what I started to do is live by what I teach all over the world, on Steve Harvey and everywhere else. I started living by the 10, 10, 30, 50. So the first 10% of every dollar you get, you tithe. Say tithe. Now for me, that means to my church. You might want to give to something else. And a lot of people say, like, they say, well, I'll start tithing or I'll start giving when I make more money. That never happens. Let me prove it to you. Has anybody here ever gotten a raise on your job? Raise your hand if you ever got a raise. Okay. Has anybody here ever gotten a raise and then went and raised your expenses? Right? You get a $10,000 raise, you buy a $30,000 car. You get a $20,000 raise, you buy a $200,000 house. So I started tithing when I was broke, because this is what I realized. I was broke whether I tithed or not. It wasn't like if I kept the tithing money, I was straight. I was broke either way. So I started tithing so at least I could have God on my broke side when I pray. Do you understand me? I just want to be in the right place with the right mindset. So the first 10% you do that. The next 10% you save. Say save.
Save.
Now this is not just saving for a rainy day like grandma, your parents, or Big Mama taught. It's for a come up. Say come up. Come up. At some point in life, you will be in a position to buy something for a low price and sell it for a high price, like real estate or stock. When the stock market crashed in 2008, my sorority sister, who I wrote one of my books with, the stock price, I think, for Bank of America went down to like 20 cents a share. She bought like 200,000 shares or 100,000 shares. And when the stock price went up to $8, $10, $15, $20, she cashed in for a lot of money. And when you get that opportunity, you want to be able to do it with money that you're not afraid to lose. You want to do it with extra money. So everybody has to have some money for a come up in addition to emergencies and so on and so forth. So the first 10% you do what? Tithe. The next 10% save. The next 30% is cash in your pocket. Say cash in your pocket.
Cash in your pocket.
Now this is to avoid a spending addiction. Do you know what a spending addiction is? Okay, I'm in the right place. Just in case you're confused, a spending addiction is what you have when you go to Walmart for toothpaste and walk out with $179.47 worth of stuff you don't need. You know what I'm talking about. Talking about that was on the rollback rack. That wasn't on sale for you. It was not on sale for you. As a matter of fact, you went in there for toothpaste and you got a shopping cart. You was lying when you walked in the door. Because you don't need a shopping cart for toothpaste. Now you done walked over there to the sheets. Now you need some new towels. Now you need some new dishes. Now your little bad, hard-headed kids need a new videotape. You know how we do it. So this 30% is where most of us lose our power. I need you to understand this. The entire world is depending upon you spending money without thinking. The entire economic system is dependent upon you staying trapped. Let me explain to you. Whenever there's not enough money in the economy, they issue a stimulus. Anybody ever heard of an economic stimulus? This is why they do it. They send the money to you to get your spending juices flowing. So you start spending, but you spend more of that. And the truth is, a $2,000 stimulus check is not stimulating. If you want to stimulate me, I need about 3 more zeros on that check. You understand? Needs to be about 2 million. But let me tell you why it's not set up to help you. The truth is, there's enough money in the American Treasury for every adult to get a $1 million stimulus check. It would only take about $500 million. That's 1/2 of $1 billion. I'm show that I could not pay. And I want you to understand that pride and shame are all the same. Okay? So when it comes to money, remove the shame, remove the pride, speak the truth. And the 30% is for your groceries, gas, hair, nails, all of that stuff. So I remember speaking at the Essence Young Women's Leadership Conference, and a lady came down the aisle. She said, Lynn, thank you so much, because all these other financial people up there talking, I just kept it real simple and very real. She said, I got it. She said, but here's my problem. The 30% is only enough for my hair. I said, okay. I said, well, go on and get your hair done. And when you die of starvation because you don't have money for food, we going to look in your casket and say, her hair sure was sharp. You have to make a choice, right? We have to make a choice. And the choice cannot be to try to lie on money. Money won't let you lie on it. You might say to somebody, I'm happy, and you sad. You might say blessed, and you might be depressed. You might say you have peace when you have, you can lie about everything except the dollar, because it will expose itself in our lives. Does that make sense?
Totally makes sense. Hope y'all got it. 10, 10, 30, 50. Rules to live by. So Dr. Lynn, thank you so much for being here, but more importantly, changing my life. And so since Dr. Lynn and I started working together, we have created so many streams, so many multiple streams of income. And so I'm happy to say that because of it, you know, the funds have grown, the company has expanded. But please tell everyone why it's so important to have a home-based business.
Okay, so this is, first of all, let's give MC Lyte a whole big old round of applause, because she is just the bomb. And not only is she a legend and the greatest rapper of all time, one of the greatest, not just female, but rappers, period, but she is a serial entrepreneur, right? She got like 50,000 jobs. There should be a law against that. But good thing it's not. So what I want to say to everybody is this. Everybody is an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur is not something that you should look at MC Lyte or Steve Harvey or Diddy or Russell Simmons or Oprah or Bill Gates. That's not something that you should look at them and say, wow, they're an entrepreneur. I'm a teacher, or I'm a doctor, or I'm a mechanic, or whatever. Everybody is an entrepreneur. Let me tell you why. I told you about the way the American money system is set up. In order for there to be rich people, there have to be poor people. Well, let me tell you the other thing. The system is set up to reward people who own businesses. And it does not have to be a big corporation with an LLC or incorporation, or it doesn't have to be that. It can be your own home-based business, your hair braiding business, your cookie making business, your car fixing business, whatever it is. And this is the reason why. How many people here work on a job? Raise your hand if you work on a job. Okay, great. You will never be free only with a job. Let me tell you why. Because on your job, if you make $100,000 a year, I want you to picture this. If you make $100,000 a year, they're going to take off between $35,000 and $40,000 off the top. FICA men going to get that. You understand that? You're only going to get about $60,000 to $65,000 down here. And with that $60,000 to $65,000, you've got to figure out how to pay your car note, insurance, cell phone, rent, mortgage, all of your expenses. For most people, it's not enough money. And at the end of the year, you get taxed on the whole amount. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? But let me tell you how it works if you have a business. If you have a business and you make $100,000, the $100,000 is up here. First, you get to expense. You get to write off all of the things that you spent money on to support that business. You get to write off your car, whether it's the lease or the car note payment, insurance, or your mileage, gasoline, expenses, cell phone, when you travel, meals and entertainment. everything. Let's just say that adds up to about $60,000. You get to write that off. You report your income as only $40,000. You understand? And then that's the amount you get taxed on. That's why our president will not show his tax returns, because he's got so many business expenses. It's not set up for everybody to know how that works. And he's not doing anything illegal. It's perfectly legal. It's why Warren Buffett pays less taxes per dollar than the average person. So let me say this to you. I expense everything. Let me tell you, everything is business when it comes to me. Now, how many people here have children? Okay, so my grandmother, she had like 17 brothers and sisters. First of all, you got to feed all those people. I'm going to tell you right now, if I had 17 kids, everybody would eat every day. I'd have a Monday, Wednesday group and a Tuesday, Thursday group. And on your day off, you have to fast, pray, or steal. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, work it out. I don't know what to tell you. But the truth is, children cost money. They need food. Babies need diapers. They need school clothes, school supplies. They need haircuts. And then if you put them in any activities, soccer classes, all of those things, you can't write any of that off. But if you have a home-based business, you get to hire your child to work in your home-based business. All of them. If you have one, if you have 10. You get to hire them. You can pay each child up to, it used to be $6,000 a year. That was about $100 a week. You can pay them now up to $12,000 a year. That's about $200 a week, a little bit less than that. Now, you might be thinking, Lynn, I don't have that much money to pay my child. I'm not telling you to pay them new money. I'm telling you to take the money you're already spending on them, instead of calling it diapers, instead of calling it food, instead of calling it school clothes or school supplies, you call it a salary. Now that's a tax write-off to you. I have 3 children. I get to write off $12,000 per child. That's $36,000 a year. It is now a salary to them. Children do not have to report any income up to $12,000 a year. That's why I said $12,000. So now I pay them a salary. I get the money back at the end of the year. And now they use all of that money for school clothes, school supplies, tuition, classes, daycare, whatever. You all need to clap for that.
Yes, you do. And I hope you utilize that information.
Now, when I talked about this on Steve Harvey, 50 million people, we got so many emails because people don't know. That's the money game. This is a game, people. It is a game. G-A-M-E. And if you sit down and you play Monopoly and you don't know the rules, you're going to be out of there quickly. If you are spending money every day, living on this earth, trying to make it, and you don't know the rules, you're going to be out of it quickly. That's just one write-off. When I took my kids to Disney World, again, everything I do is business. I went there for business. I don't go anywhere for pleasure. I don't care if it's Medea's family reunion in Tougaloo, Mississippi, and you are playing Big Whiz in the woods and burning up the rib tips. It's always business. You email someone and you say, hey, I'm coming for, and I want to sit down and talk about business. That's right. And because you are going for business, the IRS says you can still have fun while you are on business. You can entertain, you can go to the movies, you can do all of those things. When I come home from a business trip, that's when I take my clothing to the cleaners. Because my clothes were used for what? Business. And now it's a tax write-off. Do you understand what it's saying to you?
Yes.
So, the average American who doesn't own a business only knows about 7 or 8 tax deductions. That is medical expenses, moving expenses, if you're trying to find a job, if you tie to your church, your real estate, your mortgage, that's about it. there are 450 tax deductions. And if you don't know what they are, then you are throwing money away. So the first question that Lyte asked me, it was about how to spend less money. That's the first step in winning the money game. The second step is what she said about having multiple streams of income. So everybody here can be in business today. You can be a consultant. You'll get a Schedule C on your 1040 tax return. Go home and download it, or email me, or get my books at the end, or what have you. I'll show you exactly what to do. And at the top of that Schedule C, it says your name or your business name. So it could be your name, Lisa Jones, Lynn Richardson, a lot more. It could be your name. It says your social security number or your tax ID number. You do not need a license. You do not need a permit. You do not need any of that to have a home-based business as a consultant. Now, if you are going to go start a dental business, now you know you got to go to dental school. You know you got to get a license, you got to pass the test, you got to register with the state. Don't tell them Lynn Richardson told me I didn't need, because I'm going to look at you from the other side of the jail and say, now you know I didn't need that. But do you all understand what I'm saying? You get it? Okay, so everybody's in business, everybody's an entrepreneur. Everything you spend money on is what? Let me tell you something. When people come to my house to eat, that's what? It is called a dinner party. I don't care if it's Christmas, Mother's Day, New Year's, Easter, or repast. It is a dinner party when you come to my house. When I open the door, I ask everybody how's, and I have all of my what around the house? My
business cards.
Business cards and books and things like that. Now, my brother and them, Pookie and Ray Ray and all them, they think I'm crazy. But you know what? I don't care what they think. Because at some point, they're going to ask me for some money, and guess what? It's going to be
business.
That's right. Give yourselves a round of applause.
Right. I love it when you say when people call you to borrow money, they don't know it, but they're going to get a job with it.
Oh, yeah. So for the people who don't have kids, okay, so this is for any kid up to the age of 18. So people say, well, but what about an infant? Here's the rule. The child has to be able to do a job that any other child could do and be paid a reasonable salary that any other child will be paid. So my 4-year-old, they used to pass out business cards in the grocery store. They would file things in the office. They worked for me at the table, you know, when we would travel and sell books and things like that. An infant can model, just like the Gerber baby. So take a picture, put that picture on your website, say I've been born again or whatever, honey, I don't care. Come up with a slogan, do something. So now your Pampers and diapers and all that stuff, you pay them a salary, now you get to write that off, and now you use that money for that stuff that you otherwise wouldn't have been able to write off.
Please give Dr. Lynn a round of applause. So we have one more question that I think will reveal quite a bit. And so you've helped a woman back in Chicago with several credit issues, multiple bankruptcies, foreclosure. You helped her get into a new home. How were you able to do that?
Do we have time? I thought we had to go.
He said go.
I've got about 1 or 2 more minutes left.
One or two more minutes. Okay, so this is really fast. So, yes, I helped a lady with 4 bankruptcies and 2 foreclosures, overcome her credit issues. I talk about that in my book, Yes, You're Approved, the real deal about getting a mortgage and buying a home. The 10-10-30-50 is outlined in Living Check to Monday. Now, this book is short, smooth, easy to read, laugh out loud funny. And I wrote this book when I was like really broke, trying to figure out what to do as I was writing to myself. And the book is short because what I figured is this. When people got money problems, we cannot concentrate for 300 pages. We cannot concentrate for 300 pages, honey. We need to get it fast. We need to get it quick, okay? So anybody can overcome credit issues, bankruptcy, foreclosure. I worked with this lady for 9 months. She paid off her debt. She disputed things, so on and so forth. So I've overcome bankruptcy, foreclosure, what have you. So the other piece of the money pie is not only spending less money, getting more money, getting your money back, it's also establishing a good name for yourself and getting your credit straight. So no matter what your problem is, no matter what your issue is, you can overcome it.
Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. I hope that you got some tidbits and some gems and jewels, and that you wrote them down, and that you might even possibly share them with a friend, because it's all about each one teaching.